ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. In this lesson, we will be covering the third category, which is the tongue. Our learning objectives are: number one, to be able to define Isti'la and Istifal. Number two, to know the letters of Isti'la and pronounce them correctly. And finally, to know the letters of Istifal and pronounce them correctly. As we have previously covered, we are studying Sifaat lazima with opposites. This is subdivided into 5 categories: air, sound, tongue, the back of the mouth, and pronunciation. We will be looking into the tongue in this lesson, where the tongue is lowered and is known as al-istifal, or the tongue is elevated and is known as al-isti'la. The definition of isti'la is to elevate the back of the tongue to the upper palate upon pronunciation of the letter. This produces a thick, heavy sound, which is also known as tafkhim, full mouth. The sound is clear no matter what the haraka is. The istifal, which is the lowering, is lowering the back of the tongue from the upper palate upon pronouncing the letter. As the tongue isn't raised, it is kept downwards, which causes a flat sound. These are known as tarqiq letters, empty mouth letters. There are 7 letters of isti'la. Khus, ضغط, قذ. The letters kha, صاد, ضاد, غين, طا, قاف, and ظا. We will look at each letter in more detail. The letter kha, kha, khu, khi, akh. The letter صاد, صا, صو, صي, as. The letter ضاد, ضا, ضو, ضي, ad. The letter غين, غا, غو, غي, agh. The letter طا, طا, طو, طي, أط. The letter قاف, قا, قو, قي, أق. The letter ظا, ظا, ظو, ظي, أظ. The rest of the letters are known as istifal, and there are 22 letters that fall into this category. The letter alif, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, dal, dhal, ra, za, sin, shin, ain, fa, kaf, lam, mim, noon, ha, hamza, waw, ya. And as you remember from module 2, the letter ra and the letter lam, there are different conditions when they are fall into heavy letters or light letters. Examples of istifal letters: the letter ta, ta, tu, ti, at. The letter ain, a, u, i, a. The letter ya, ya, you, yi, ay. And you will find with the letters of istifal, where the tongue is lowered, that you will smile a bit more to get the flat sound. So just to recap, we have done previously in regards to the air flows, which is known as hums, 10 letters: fa, ha, tha, ha, shim, kha, sad, sin, kaf, and ta. The air does not flow, or the air is trapped, which is known as jahar, and that is for the rest of the letters. We have also covered in regards to the sound that there is sound which flows, which is known as a rakhawa. Sound partially flows, which is known as a tawassut, and there are 5 letters for this: lam, noon, ain, mim, and ra. The sound does not flow, or the sound is trapped, which is known as a shidda, and there are 8 letters which we can learn with 2 terminologies: ajid qitta bakat, or كتب جد تكة, and the letters are Hamza, Jim, Dal, Qaf, Ta, Ba, Kaf, Ta, and so for Al-Rikhawa, the rest of the letters follow. This lesson we have covered in regards to the tongue, that the tongue is lowered and the tongue is elevated. When the tongue is elevated, it is known as Al-Isti'la, and the 7 letters Khus, Dad, Qid, Kha, Sad, Dad, Ghain, Ta, Qaf, and Dha fall into this category. And where the tongue is lowered, Al-Istifal, the rest of the letters are in this category. So what have we learnt in this lesson? We are able to define Isti'la and Istifal. We know the letters of Isti'la and we can pronounce them correctly. And we know the letters of Istifal and we can pronounce them correctly. Hope you benefited from this lesson. Keep seeking knowledge. مع السلامة.